Peace and abundance, soul tribe. It's your girl, Goddess Z, Goddess Key. We back in this thing. Okay, seriously.
Peace.
Welcome back. What's up, Key? Oh, I just like. Okay, let me stay on focus. Start.
Okay.
Welcome to another edition of SiStar Talk. We are on episode 7. Lucky number 7. Lucky number 7, y'all. So I'm grateful to be here once again, keeping our commitment to self, to source, to have these open and honest, transparent conversations. All right. I'm your girl Goddess Z, if you don't know. And you are lovely lady over here with you changed your hair.
Yeah, I changed. I had to do the comedian. Flip flop, the color.
Cut up, baby. Okay.
Goddess Key. I'm Goddess Key, y'all.
Goddess Key. Love you, baby. Okay. Here basically, we do what we do. We hold transparent conversations. We do our thing. We just vibe. And on last Sunday's episode, we were talking about mother wounds, father wounds. First of all, let me slow down, y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all something. Let me give y'all a backstory to my energy right now. I was just telling Goddess Key before we came in, I was eating. You know, we pushed the live back just a little bit because I had to eat. I hadn't eaten since yesterday, rising, because I had such an amazing day yesterday. And sometimes when you vibing high and having fun, you're just like, okay. I had my teas or whatnot. But I was doing yoga on the beach. I had fun with my friend. Had some quality family time. Got some work done. It was like one of them days it just flowed. So I didn't realize it was like 9 o'clock. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. You didn't eat. And then my energy level started telling me I didn't. So I wanted to, before I poured into anybody, make sure I built my reserve. So I'm like, let me grab my food and eat. And I was over here stuffing my face and talking to Keita while Keita was doing. Keita, tell him what happened.
Okay. A bird. I had a bird fly in, y'all. And I was like, I don't know where it came from. But when I came in to get my tea, I came to get my tea out of the kitchen, and I just see the bird just flying out through the kitchen. And I was like, it's a bird, and I don't know how to get out. You said, I'll just open up the door. It find its way out. It know it's home. And so I opened up the door, and it flew out. But it gave me a warm feeling inside.
Did it?
Because it did. And it's like, that's part of why I'm just smiling over here, because that never happened to me. A bird just flying through the house, and I don't know how I got in. I don't, but it's beautiful. I feel it's a good feeling inside. It left me with a good feeling.
It left you with a good, and that's what you operate off of. You was like, well, how do I know what that means? You operate off of how it makes you feel. And I told you, tap in with yourself. And if it made you feel good, you sit with yourself and see what that meant. I have heard several different interpretations about birds flying in the house, but that's my interpretation. That's how I took it. That's your message. That was your house. That was a bird that connected with you. So who better to communicate with? You could even talk to the bird. I'm sure it's probably outside still, or the energy is still present. So just sit with it.
Thanks.
It'll come to you. Peace, elevating energy. Love you, sis. That salad you made the other day, by the way. Look. All right. So happy Sunday, y'all. I really, really trust that all is well and everybody's flowing, knowing, and growing. Doing our best out here. So much going on, but just want to give you a brief reminder is that you get to choose. Like if you want to indulge in the pettiness, if you want to indulge in the foolery, if you want to indulge in the opulence, if you want to indulge with the abundance and the peace, you get to choose. So
and how great is life when you choose? You choose your path. Now, how great is that? It's your choice.
It's completely up to you.
Yes. Ooh, okay. I just still got these chills from this bird.
Okay, look at you. Over there vibing high. The bird got your vibing high. Okay. Peace. Oh, he said, I'm so ready for this podcast, especially with the daddy issues. Baby, come tap in. First of all, I'm not here to teach, coach. I'm simply here to give my perspective. I'm giving that disclaimer because people be like, what way should I have advice? Like, what way should I go? How should I do this? And I don't mind sharing what I've done, but that's my perspective. Give you pointers and keys to help you unlock what you working with. But I simply sit here and give my perspective and share advice based upon my experiences. All right. So with that being said, let's jump in. So we talked about mommy and daddy issues last episode, and we ended up talking about weaves and natural hair and everything else because it just spent off, baby. Kira and me and you, baby, we just thought, and then we stayed on. We stayed backstage like another 2 hours and just kept talking, just kept talking. Girl, hang up this phone, this computer, da, da, da. But anyway,
what'd you say? Y'all just gonna hang up. We ain't gonna never get off this phone.
I ain't gonna ever put it because every time I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go, y'all, we gotta go, and then we start talking about something else, and then we get on another tangent. But Kira ain't here this episode, baby. Kira been over there remodeling her apartment. She relaunching her candle brand. I said, girl, I'm not gonna even not bother you this Sunday. Get your rest. She's been putting work. She quit her job and became a full-time entrepreneur. So she's doing her thug deals right now.
I'm so proud of Kira.
North. I love her. Anyway, mom and daddy issues. So we were talking about how trauma is past. Sometimes we are not in this thing to blame. We're not in this thing to point fingers and say, oh, well, my daddy wasn't shit. Oh, well, my mama didn't do me right. We're not here to do that because at the end of the day, people did the best that they can. So it is what it is, you know. You can either, when we adopt that thinking of this person did that to me, this person treated me like this and made me feel, that's victim mentality because you have released all responsibility. Remember we just said you get to choose? Yep. So if somebody offends you or made you feel hurt or broken, that's because we chose that. And sometimes it's purposefully. We have to go through those things to get to where we're going. It's like leveling up. You got to build that muscle, right? So we're not here to blame anybody. What happened was destined to happen. Our life is perfect. Our stories are perfect. It's designed exactly how we design them, if that makes sense. But anywho,
I ain't trying to interrupt, but like when it comes to situations like that, I wonder why people tend to not want to hear. I mean, not want to look at it from both sides. They just want to look at everything one side. Like you just said, oh, this person wasn't here for me or something like that. But you never know what that person was going through. But they just want to look at the side of you just wasn't here for me. You get what I'm saying?
Very, very interesting. Yeah. And you know what? I think that comes with growth. And I think that's the same thing as victim mentality, because if you want to just look at it from your side, not to see, oh, maybe this person couldn't be the mom or the dad that I need them to be because they had their own battles that they were, or challenges that they were getting through. That is having open-mindedness, and that comes with healing. So I think that you get to a certain point in your journey, and you're able to acknowledge that person's hurt as well, right? Not just yours, and not just me. We're looking at it from both sides. So I think that's an evolved soul that can do that. That's a very mature person that can do that. And instead of just saying, I'm blaming you for my shit, I'm like this because of you. I hear that so much. My dad is like this, so I'm like this. And that's because you choose to be like that. If you acknowledge that something and you don't change it, you're choosing it at that point. Nobody did that to you. So we shift life, and I say this all the time, what somebody did to me to what somebody did for me. Because in every experience, one thing we can guarantee is we're going to get either a lesson or a blessing.
Yep.
Both of them are beneficial, so you do not lose. You never lose.
Yep. You take, and if it's a lesson, you take that lesson, and further, like throughout life, is your tool. You take that lesson. Okay, I know what to expect, or I know what I have learned from this. Like you take that.
I know how to move the next time this energy.
Yeah. Yes.
Right. Okay. So foundational, what mommy and daddy issues are. So basically it's some type of, I don't want to call it trauma, but experiences you had with your parents, biological parents, that made you feel maybe unloved, unworthy. It basically left a void. Right. And we talked about the importance of a mom and a dad in a household. And I'm not even talking about like genders, but it's important to have a balance of feminine and masculine energy, allowing that child to be themselves, be creative, be expressive, be open, but also having boundaries to where they know we have rules. There are certain things that are acceptable at certain times. And I believe that having that masculine and feminine energy creates that harmony. But so often there is an imbalance because we know, especially as melanated people, we have a disproportionate number of single parent households. It's kind of become a part of our cultural norm is for people to not have their daddy live with them or not have their mama live with them. In fact, we was talking about how it was rare. We grew up in a 2-parent household, gratefully. It was for a long time. But I became a teenager. I think you were a little older, but I didn't. I think my stepdad and he separated from my mom. I was about 14, and that we're gonna get into that. But that caused some daddy issues. Excuse me, with me as well, because remember right after Jimmy left, Keith, I got pregnant.
Yeah.
I got pregnant at 14. So
Yeah.
that him being absent from the household, I think there was some discipline that exited the household when he left, like boundaries and rules and structure, and then we were more free. And then I also I grieved his loss. He wasn't there anymore, and it was like he had been there since I was 3 months old. So it was like he was my dad. He is my dad. But I got a question. How do y'all feel about not being meant for them to be there because of you being protected from them? I think that is. Kid, you want to chime in?
Okay. How do y'all feel about it?
Why you rap? That's deep, ain't it?
Yeah, it is. It is.
I feel like expectation. In America, we expect, like I was just saying, our expectation here is mom and dad to be present, a two-parent household. But people, mom, dad, sister, brother, uncle, cousin, auntie, they're on our path for a very divine reason. Whether that reason is to be there for us and raise us from infanthood to adulthood, or whether that be they just simply plant that seed so that we can birth into this realm. So that may very well be the case. Like we were saying, some people just don't have the equipment to be able to parent like they wish they could, or how they quote unquote should. I can use myself for an example. When I said I was 14 when I had my first child, had my second child when I was 16, 17ish, going on a 17 cusp. I was still myself a child. So that it gave me in my eyes a disadvantage. I felt like I was not ready. I felt like people that were older had children that were grown or growing, teenagers that were more stable could help me. So I felt like I needed to pass that book. So I relied upon tribe and other people outside of my immediate family to assist me with raising my my older children, because I didn't feel equipped. Because I felt like at that point in my life, I would have caused more harm than help to them. Mm-hmm. I would rather them be with somebody to be stable, rather than and more mature, rather than to be with me that was broke. I won't say broken, but was going through so much, didn't even know myself. Still had to go, and that was really beneficial. That was a painful decision to make, but it was very beneficial for me because I got to do growing and healing without the traumas of being a parent that didn't know how to parent and taking my children through that. So it was really important for me to rely upon that. So some people recognize that and say, hey, right now, I don't even think I'm in a place to do that. And some people just decide to disappear because they don't know how to interact with or to be a productive parent. They don't know how to show up, for lack of a better term. She said, I've actually learned some things about mine, and I used to feel like I was being punished, but it's actually being protected. Not that it don't still hurt, but I have a better understanding. That is deep. Yes, that's a part of you, sis. We talked about importance. We talked about, my stepdad raised me since I was an infant. Up until I was a teenager. Oh, he still raised me, even he wasn't in the house. He still was there and supported. But my biological father wasn't there. My biological father is what made it with my mom to create me. So I have part of his genes, his genetics, DNA, all of that is a part of me. So of course you're going to mourn that when you're separated from something that is a part of you. So when we talk about mother and father wounds, it can come in the form of step parents, but it doesn't matter. My stepdad was there. I didn't grow up in a single parent household. So why would you have mother wounds, D? Because my biological father was not in my life. All right. Elevated Energy said, I called on when my brother dad violated me and he never came, but I then learned he's done the same thing, which made sense. And that's deep. That's deep. he's probably still dealing with it. And he doesn't know how to support you. And we can't expect just because he's dad, just because he's mom. And I know it sounds harsh as hell, but just because he's dad or he's mom, we can't expect for them to just show up and be who they need to. Because sometimes we're the one that shows up to show them how to show up.
And I never thought of it that way. I never thought of it that way.
So we have to release that expectation. If someone has shown being incapable of being there, it's okay. It doesn't mean we have to love them any less. Accept them for who they are. They're still valuable. Lessons and blessings.
Mm-hmm.
By all means, set boundaries so that you protect I won't even say protect yourself, so that you don't continue to run into the same thing to where you bump your head. Okay, well, I depended on my dad to show up for this event. He didn't show up for that event. So I'm not going to plan a big event and expect him to show up next time. Maybe I'll still extend the invitation, but I'm going to release the expectation of him showing up because he is who he is. Love him for that. Don't blame him because you don't know his traumas. You don't know what he's facing and going through. Just like somebody may be saying the same thing about you. That's unconditional love.
Mm-hmm.
That's non-judgmental love. It's not giving judgment and saying, oh, he's a badass dad. He's a piss poor dad. That may be how you feel, but that's not all that he is. That's a soul. That's a being that's gone through something to get to that point. Yeah. And that's a heavy topic. First of all, if it's your brother's dad, okay, he probably that's heavy. How do I address this? Do I have the courage? How do I support? And if you can't show up for yourself, he can't show up for you. And it don't sound like he's showing up for himself, because people who show up for themselves don't neglect parts of them. Any part. Set boundaries. She said, right, I released him, but I still love him. Absolutely. Ashe, sis. Ashe. It's important because when we stop that love, we create a disconnect. We're connected to all, whether we like it or not, good, bad, or ugly. We're part of all. So when we say we create that, that's a blockage. He did this to me, or he allowed it to happen. That's a blockage. I experienced this with my father, and it taught me. And move on with that. And then you become grateful for him because you're grateful for that lesson.
Yes, you are. But I have a question. Like, when it comes to the male masculine energy in the house, I mean, could the male be overdoing that masculine energy to the point where maybe their children is too afraid to even come into them? You know, do that make any sense?
It do.
Cause the reason why I'm coming at you with this because Kylie, this my daughter. She's 12. She was like, and like I said, I'm not trying to point a finger. I'm not trying to, talk down on anyone or anything like that. But she's like, oh, I gotta talk to you. I need to talk to you about something. I'm like, yeah, Kylie, what is it? She's like, I feel I'm not getting enough attention. I said, well, attention from who? Is it from me or what? She said, no, not from you. It's from my daddy. And I was like, well, Kylie, express that to him. Maybe he don't know that he's not giving you enough attention. Express that to him. And she was like, I want to, but I'm kind of scared to come to him because when I come to him, he just it's always just a rough approach about everything. And then she was like, so by me expressing that to him, could I just send it through a text? I don't want to actually sit down and talk to him face to face. And I'm like, ooh, that kind of hurt.
I think that having that conversation is healing because he may not even look at it as being a rough approach. He may just be being himself or not even be caught. Mine might be somewhere else. And she's just getting a byproduct of that. So calling it to his attention, I think, would be first. But of course, I've seen men who we confuse masculine energy with being, punishing children and just and being mean and harsh. No, it's basically standing firm and sticking to boundaries. I talked about how I don't discipline my kids. I don't discipline. Oh, I lied there. How I don't hit my children. Because I feel like that's slave mentality. People was beat on plantations when they didn't do what they didn't do when they was told. So I feel like I'm powerful enough and have enough reins over my household to where I can speak and still have authority without having to hit a child, because the whippings don't work.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's temporary. People dread them, but baby, look, uh,
And it's like, well, I'm gonna beat you to want to do what I want you to do. That's like,
more so like, and then they don't want to come to you. They don't open up. They
yeah.
really
And
are.
I think that's probably of why she feel that way, because it's like when she do express how she feel or something, because she's at the point where she's starting to like boys, and it's like he's like, no, you can't, no. He's like, I don't know if he's like in overprotective mode or what, but it's like he's just so aggressive towards her that now she's at the point where she don't want to come to him at all.
You know what? And I think that needs to be called to his attention, because she's interested in
Mm,
building that relationship and coming to him. If she didn't care, she'd be like, well, I just can't talk to him. I'll go to
yeah,
somebody else. She's
yeah.
interested. So I feel like this is prime real estate. This prime time to call to his attention. Now, how he responds to that, he might deny it. He might say, oh, damn, I didn't even realize that, baby girl. However, it's not on you. It's not on Kylie. And support her for whatever that response is, which is reinforcing that that she matters, that she's important. Sometimes people go through things, and the attention can be off. He loves you, just reinforcing it. Catherine says, I've experienced this with my mother, and I had to meet her where she was. Absolutely. Meet people where they are. Trust them to be who they are. And love them for being who they are. Not trying to change anybody, because that's just going to exhaust you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You cannot change a single solitary soul. I don't care how hard you try. I don't care how much you want to put on a show and present yourself and do things to try to get them to change. They have to make that agreement with themselves. So that's what we the expectation. Because you supposed to be my dad, coming down hard on them and telling them about themselves, it might hurt their feelings. It might spark a catalyst of change, but at the end of the day, they make that choice. They make that choice. I call my baby girl Moon. I love it. I love it.
Oh, that's pretty.
I love it, Moon. Moon. I dealt with that with my daughter. Oh, so I think that's a big thing, like with teenagers, and I think that's a like dad thing. They're protective over their girls, over their baby girls, so they'll always be their baby girls. So yeah, I feel like that's just a normal part of fathering, but you don't want to do that, like you said, imbalance. He do it so much to where he pushing her away.
Yeah, he's pushing her away, and now and I feel like this is great that we're touching on this, because by this happening like in your childhood, like, or teen, this is a possibility that it will carry through your adult years, right? And I think that's kind of like what happens to me. Like by my father, like I said, I'm not pointing fingers, like not just being there. That carried on through my adulthood, and I felt like it within my relationships, it did. And I felt like, well, by me not having him there like I wanted to, I felt like I just needed male attention, like throughout my relationship. And it's basically like I would like just take anything in relationships just to have that male attention. And I think I seek that from my dad. But I mean, and it's something that like to this day I'm still trying to get past. Like I'm trying to heal from that.
That is so profound that you said that, like hit me like a big energy ball. I feel like that's one of the biggest thing that I see with a lot of women right now, is with the father wound, is that seeking for love, that affection, that a father is expected to provide, but when it's not provided, our soul or our being still looks for that, which are and what we tend to do is pick mates that mimic the behavior of our fathers. because they've left their mark. That is a trauma or an experience that we do need to heal from. And when we don't, it presents, as with anything we don't heal from, it presents itself in our relationships, whether it be your job, your mate, your friends, because with that type of belief, it's a devaluing self. Like you need to build some self-worth and self-esteem, because a dad helps instill that in his daughter. And when it's not instilled, it's not instilled. You don't really know. So again, we go seeking for that love and seeking for self outside of us. But what we're really looking for is that part of us that's missing, which is dad, which is that healing. And sometimes we won't be able to sit down and have that young Levant talk and have that big breakthrough. If we do, absolutely amazing. But if we don't, we still gotta forgive. Yeah. Take the lesson. Why is it that I feel this way? First of all, go back to building yourself up. That I am capable, I am smart, I am loved, I am loving up yourself first. That's how you start the process. When that person can't show up for you and that healing can't be mutual between the two of you, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing, but sometimes it's rare. You still got to keep the work going within self. So that's just reaffirming that I love you. You are worthy. You are deserving. And then from there, you're able to forgive because you come from a place of love. You're filling yourself up with so much love. You can't do nothing but see the love in that situation. Oh, yeah, that hurt. Oh, yeah, I missed that. Oh, yeah, I needed that. That would have helped. But I'm still whole. And you do that by going back and affirming yourself and loving up yourself so much that you can go back and forgive that person, even if they're not apologizing, even if they ain't sorry.
Got to feel.
We do. We hop into these questions. What's up, Bird Gang? She talked with her dad and he turned her feelings around to be a relationship with me 19 years ago. My daughter found out he's a narcissist. Like somebody say, it is what it is. He's not. He's operating from a hurt space, and we sometimes don't get the lesson, and we pass that down. But because y'all recognize that, you're able to point that out, love him from where he is, set boundaries accordingly, and move forward together, because she has you, so that's very, very important. It's most definitely true, because I can say I chose the same type of father for my children, as far as being absent, not choosing by choice, but choosing by trauma.
You spoke. When you said that, by trauma, yes, sis. Yes.
Dang, that's a revelation right there. We dropped the mic.
Surely, yes, yes.
You spoke right there, choosing by trauma, and that's the best that we can do at this time. Ain't no blame. Well, they said something about you because you picked the ain't shit baby daddy. No, I mean it does say something about me, but that doesn't define who I am. His actions don't define me. Yeah. Maybe I attracted that because that's where I was at that point. That's what I viewed as love, because that's what my daddy did. So I'm just recognizing with that or relating to that what's familiar. So that ain't my fault, and I'm gonna release the blame from myself, and I'm gonna forgive myself for picking somebody who showed me something less than love, but I needed that. I might not understand why now. I mean, I will understand, but I know that it's good, and I trust the process of my journey. Somebody almost hopped in the sister talk. Somebody coming in, but we gotta knock before you come through this door.
Yeah, before you go through this door.
Hey, somebody popped up in here. What's going?
And I think like I think by me facing like going through all this, it kind of, I know that I shouldn't be doing it because it don't not feel right by me trying to do that. It's like I'm just trying to shield and be so overprotective of my daughter. But I know I have to let her live. But it's just like I'm seeing her in me.
She's part of you.
Yeah, you know.
I'm being silly. Go ahead. I'm being silly.
You know what I'm saying. But I'm seeing everything like it's like a replay of everything, and it's like, what can I do? What can I do to change this? But I know I just gotta let it go. I gotta just let her live. But it's just like I just try to do everything I can to like let her avoid that hurt that I feel.
Mm. That hurt made you into the person that you are today. So I was reading that book I shared. It's called The Yamas and the Niyamas. It was like this man went into this very dangerous area and had to fight this person that was very powerful, and he really wasn't equipped, but he came out victorious. And they was like, was that safe? And he was like, no, but it was good, meaning that it's necessary.
Mm-hmm.
So it builds muscle, and you do what you're gonna do is worry yourself half to death. And that's what I ain't gonna say that, but moms tend to nurture, and sometimes we over nurture based upon our experiences, choosing from trauma, just like Elevated Energy just said. I don't want her to go through that. But if you hadn't gone through that, would you be able to recognize that?
No, I wouldn't.
So if there's a choice that you made with partners or men that you necessarily, this is just an example, that you don't want your child to make, how you can help her and help guide her is to exemplify what you would consider to be a productive relationship or a healthy relationship, because she's taking notes. You cannot drive her car for her. You can coach her from the sideline by literally healing yourself, recognizing where it is that you feel like you quote unquote went wrong. Ain't no right or wrong, but areas that you felt like I could have did this better, or I could have did this a different way. Do it a different way now.
Yeah.
Don't be about this. Just guide her. And you guide her. It ain't even no taking her hand. It's just you leading her. She gonna follow your actions anyway. You just said, I see so much of her in me. That's like me. Okay, well, just guide you by just healing. It ain't even complicated. You can take all that worry, all that anxiety out of there, and just have fun healing on your journey. And she's going to take notice. This is something that I'm speaking from example. You don't, because chances are, for me, I'll speak for me. I didn't raise my older child, my oldest daughter. We didn't gain a really great relationship until we were always in each other's lives, but I was not her custodial parent. So what I said probably didn't hold a whole lot of weight. What I did held more weight.
Yes.
Kids got a lot of people talking at them and telling them what to do. They start to tune that shit out.
The actions.
It's all about that movement. Jupiter sugar baby. Oh, I like that. Jupiter sugar baby. I like that. Hey, that abundance. Hey, make it rain. Okay, I get it. I get sidetracked sometimes. I be high off this energy, y'all. I'm telling y'all, I love this show. I really love connecting with y'all. She said we can be accountable for who we choose to be choose to be our baby daddy, but I definitely learned a lot from it. Absolutely, accountability needs to be had, but no blame. I chose an ain't shit baby daddy. Or people try to say, you chose him. Yes, I did, but he was chosen from trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Part of me that was a version of myself that hopefully doesn't exist anymore. That was a previous version. So I got to be held accountable the rest of my life. I got to be held blame or held victim to a choice that I made. Nah, but we can make it better by saying I chose this because that's where I was, accepting that's our choice that we made, accountability, not forcing blame or saying, this is why or that's why, but just saying it is what it is. How we gonna move going forward? You can't change that. Baby daddy is who he is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm accountable for that. I did that. I manifested that. Whether we're proud of it or not. But his actions is not your responsibility. We had the best of intentions, or we were who we were. We were our best at that moment. Recognizing that this person is still important for a reason. She said, I definitely learned a lot from it. It's a lesson. Thank you for that lesson. And if I want to have children in the future, I want to pick a partner or I'm going to choose to, or I'm going to raise my vibration so that I attract however you choose to move. But just move better. Having accountability for, that's where I was. That can even be something that you use to be as a growth tool. That's what I used to deal with and accept for being the best. Now look at what I have. That's a comparison of a previous version of yourself. So that's really you stunting on the old you. You know what I'm saying? He's just a product of your evolution. I ain't going for no more shit like that. Oh, look how you've grown. It's not hard. It's hard not to project your fears when you see your child going through a similar situation. For sure, that means that you need to hear that. It's triggering. It can be triggering, but you can give your child advice. We learn from experience. You absolutely can give your child advice. But I'm speaking from myself. You can definitely give your child advice. But children, how many times you got to tell your child something before they actually do it? We're talking to them a lot. Children are mimickers of actions. I get on my yoga mat every day. You think my toddler learned how to do yoga from me telling her yoga moves? She watched me.
Mm-hmm. And now that you said like actions, I think children. Well, I see that for myself. Children go by actions more because it's just like, for example, say like if you're sending your child to school one day, and you're telling I could tell you how to do this all day long, but when you get home, boom, you forget everything. Everything just goes out the window. But but say another example, if I'm showing you how to do this, that child would literally right after you show them do the same thing. It's like I get what you were saying. Like I've just given examples, but yeah, I think actions. It's about the actions. Like I feel it. I feel it.
Children watch you. You say one thing and do another.
Mm-hmm.
Then what you say don't matter no more. Or I'm not going to say don't matter, but it holds less weight.
Yep. Yeah.
Actions speak like words come a dime a dozen. I'm talking about, and I know I say this for me. I don't know what works for nobody else's household. Again, this is a disclaimer for me. I am not here to steer anybody's journey. I'm over experiences from my perspective, my lenses. I talk a whole lot. If you watch this show, I talk a lot. So a mechanism that my people done built up is sometimes she talking about shit that really is important to me right now in my journey, and I need to listen. And sometimes I really be talking about, like I was at the other day with my husband with the mushrooms. Okay, girl, what? Some mushrooms? For real? They got their own lives. But when I mimic those actions, well, I mirror those words with my actions or something that I really want to get across, I show them with actions. My son, he had a hard time with accountability. And I think this is something that it was passed on from me. When somebody told me I did something wrong, I would take offense to it. Mm-hmm. It was just fear of being wrong, fear of being judged, fear. And as I healed that he's a very smart kid. If I did something or I'm mistaken or made a mistake, I'll apologize to him and say, whoa, you were right. Dang, I'm so glad you showed me that.
But a lot of people can't not do that. A lot of people can't do that. They
hard.
Can't like they can't admit to their wrongdoing.
Absolutely. And that's out of fear. That's out of fear. So with me just showing him what it looked like to be accountable, meaning that I don't have to be embarrassed because I did something wrong. I don't have to be upset because somebody called me out on something. I can be grateful. Has shown him. And that's exactly how okay, Mom, I didn't know that. Instead of lying or getting aggressive or offensive or shutting me out, I showed him. And those were in the form of words. I'm not saying don't talk to your children. That is not what I'm saying at all. I'm just telling you when you want to know what actually holds weight.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
Your actions hold weight because a lot of us like to preach a whole lot of things that we don't practice in our life. Do as I say, not as I do. Nah. Because I'm just telling you to do something that I ain't even mastered or I ain't even did or I don't even know how to do.
Yes. Oh, yeah, you speaking now. You're speaking.
I'm so glad I own up to my wrongs with my kids because that wasn't done for me. So it shows that I've healed and grown. That's healing generational trauma right there. You just broke a generational curse. Being able to say, hey, you smart as heck. And it's affirming them too. Oh, I'm so glad I got you around because you caught that when I couldn't. You are so helpful. And that turns that into a positive situation because we ain't perfect. And that comes with wounds too. But people pleasing, meaning that we want to always get it right all the time because that makes us feel smart. That makes us feel accepted. And when we're wrong, we are rejected or we're being judged. Since I got to do as I say, speak coming up. Yeah, man. I mean, that was a motto. Do as I say, not as I do. You can't be telling people to do stuff that you're not doing yourself. Be a mirror of what you're speaking about, because then it does not make you truthful. I mean, I mean, they ain't necessarily lying, but expecting something out of somebody that you don't even expect for yourself, or you don't exemplify. Yeah, nah. Anywho, a couple of the traumas that I realized came from not trauma situations or occurrences that I chose abusive partners. Not so much that like my mom was hit or anything like that. It was because for a number of reasons, I didn't value myself enough. And then I lacked discipline. So when people was hard on me, or I saw that as being love, when somebody stood up and said, "You don't do this and you ain't gonna do that," setting like not even boundaries, but giving me those rules that like usually a dad puts into place. I look for that partners, and that came across as that's abuse. A partner shouldn't be doing it. Daddies, that's their role. But I look for that in my partner. So I attracted partners that were abusive, that were controlling. Because and then I didn't value myself enough, and I just wanted the love. I just wanted the attention. I just wanted to feel love and accepted. So I accepted anything because I didn't know my worth. I didn't know it. I was put in the exact situation. My mother and I understood why my mother made the decision she did. As I became a mother, I understood my mother better, which led me to, oh, that's beautiful.
Healing.
Read that again. I was put in the exact situation my mother and I understood why my mother made the decision she did. As I became a mother, I understood my mother better, which led me to doing mother healing.
That's beautiful.
That's true healing right there. That's true healing right there. That's compassion. Hey, you did this that didn't feel good. I don't want to do that for my kids. I acknowledge your hurt, but I'm gonna acknowledge it. And I'm gonna heal it because I ain't gonna do it with my kids. I'm gonna put it in place, and I'm gonna put things into play to where I don't have to repeat that cycle because it didn't feel good to me. I say, sister Jupiter sugar baby. I said, Sister Jupiter. You was over there preaching. I thought we was at church. I went to church. Yes, kid, I can't help but keep looking at them sunflowers. They're beautiful. Then I'm over knocking stuff down, y'all. Hold on. I even went into a period of hating men. I thought men were dirty because after that abuse that I went through, not really healing those father wounds, having some abandonment because my stepdad left the house, I felt like men were dirty. They were nasty. I was like, ugh, they keep hurting me. They're bad. And so I started dating women. Such a phase. People always tell me, there's a phase. I'm like, you don't know my life. You don't know. But as I became more involved on my journey, I realized that was something that was a part of me that emerged. And I'm so grateful for her. I'm so grateful for those experiences. But I realized it was choices made out of trauma. I just felt like men were dirty, icky, nasty, and unworthy. And that was really a hurt place. It was a dark place. So I dated women, and I felt like that was going to be the answer. No, it wasn't. And for some people, it may be. I don't know. I ain't here to judge your life. But for me, it was a phase. It was truly a part of my journey that I had to experience. I had to feel it to heal it. And that's the way that I expressed myself. And I was expressing my anger, my quote unquote hate for my dad. And that led me to having more relationships that really weren't beneficial, but they were beneficial. I was attracting partners that taught me valuable experiences, but it really wasn't from the heart space. It was from the ego mind and that trauma that reacted to that trauma. Um, Catherine said, I wasn't raised by my mother, but I understand why my mother has to make a hard decision, like giving up 3 kids under 5. Wow, wow. She didn't have help with her kids. She had postpartum depression and anxiety. I just knew I had to be the mother my mom wanted to be. Ashe, Catherine.
Yes, Ashe.
That I feel like it's hard. Well, this is me being biased because I want to say I don't want to say I gave up my children, but I allowed other people to be the primary person to raise them because I felt like they were more equipped to do the job. Mothering is mothering. That's innate. That's an instinct that usually comes, but sometimes it doesn't, or it blossoms later in life. Like with me, I had to go through some things to develop those mothering skills because I couldn't do that at that age. It just didn't connect at that point. But I will tell you, the regret, the shame, the guilt, the blame, the anger I felt, having to deem somebody else as more worthy of taking care of my children rather than the person, me, who grew them, who birthed them, is such a hard thing to get through. And it's a whole grieving process, even if the children are still here. Because that mothering time, that bonding time is so vital. It's so precious. And when it's not fully integrated, we have disconnect, and it's not just for the child, it's for the mom as well. So that's a very hard decision, and I know it's hard if a mom has to struggle and she's in the home and doing the best she can, but the children also witness and indulge in or intake that trauma of what she's going through. So I felt like it's a move of strength in a lot of cases when somebody can give their most precious asset to someone else, put it in their hands and say, I think you can do a better job at this. The the healing for that, I feel like, is ongoing. It's ongoing. Yes. Because you have all of those doubts, those shoulda, coulda, wouldas, but you did what you felt was best. You did your best. And postpartum depression and anxiety is another thing, man. It's a whole nother ball game. It's serious. I work on a committee right now, where we talk about solutions to moms and families who have lost, moms who have succumbed to postpartum depression, whether, be suicide or it's homicide, doing something to their children because they're not in their right states of mind. So that could have been for y'all's safety as well, because that stuff don't just happen like right after pregnancy. If it doesn't get fixed, then that remains. So a lot of people deal with postpartum depression for years and years and years. And you said she had 3 kids under 5. That's very taxing on the body. So I imagine that was very taxing on her mental as well. So it's probably her making the best decision that she felt she could make at that time, even if it's not something that you would do. Like you said, you wanted to be the mother that you wanted to be. That's my motto, to be the person that I wanted to be, that I needed, or that I need. I become that person for my environment, that mom, that partner, that teacher, that sister. So yeah, I'm just on a tangent, Keita. Come on through.
Because I'm needing this talk too. I mean, like I need this. Like, this podcast, like all the podcasts speak to me, but this one right here is like really hitting it for me. It's really hitting it for me because like the traumas that I went through because of this, it's like it has carried me into my adulthood. It has stuck with me into my adulthood, and that was like some of the reasons why I have been making the decisions that I have been making. But now I'm in a point in my life where, say for instance, when it comes to relationships, I gotta it's not just me that I'm thinking about. I have children, so it's like I'm at the point where I have to make a decision for my children also. I just can't say that, okay, I'm going to take this from a person because I really love this man or I want to be with this man. it's not just me. My children is seeing what I'm going through too. It's affecting them also.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't just think like that. It's being selfish. By me just thinking, oh, okay, well, I can get through this. Okay, we just gonna work this out one more time. But how do your children feel about this? What is this trauma doing to your children? How is it making them react? Because I even throughout a relationship, I even had my daughter come to me and say, "Oh, if a relationship like this, I don't want to be in a relationship when I get older."
Oh,
That makes you think. Like, Mama, what is? Why is your child coming to you and saying this? Even your child know that you deserve better than this. So yeah, it's in me.
Little mirrors, little reflections. I say big reflections because they literally don't have that filter of trying to not hurt somebody's feelings. They just gonna give it to you raw. So when they tell you, when somebody say that they joke, that baby call you ugly for real. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I just had to be funny. But kids are very honest. They're very honest. And I always use, they're great judges of character because it's a lot of programming they haven't undergone. So when they usually can point some stuff out, it's usually pure. It's pure. Not tainted. You know, I ain't saying kids can't be manipulative. Of course they can. And the joker's smart. But at the same time, if they come to you with stuff like that, then it's probably not the best example. Or you want to just look into it and see what is it, or talk to them. What is it that about this relationship that you feel like it makes you not want a relationship? Mm-hmm. And that can give insight into. Sometimes we're so programmed into thinking that we're supposed to be talked to like that. Yeah, I'm supposed to be treated that way, to where we don't even recognize it as being abnormal. But kids coming in and saying, "Wait a minute, I don't like that." Ask them why, because sometimes they can open your eyes up to, "Damn, I didn't even realize that is a little aggressive," or maybe that don't. You know, it gets your gears to grind. And so that's why I say, when people say kids need to be seen and not heard, that is the dumbest stuff ever, because they can provide some very valuable feedback.
And I really had you thinking like, oh, I ain't not said that way, or you know what, you're right, like you just said.
You're right. Yeah, dang. Because they wake us up to our own bullshit. Elevated energy there. I love it here. I gain more wisdom and knowledge each time. I see things I can correct within myself as well. I shade reflections, baby. That's what we do. We reflect them. Just unpacking. That's what we doing. Peeling back these layers. Peeling, healing, and revealing. Just that's my brother's. He has a group. That's what he called Peel, Heal, and Reveal. I love it. But it's true. We're just peeling back these layers. And I say layers meaning traumas that keep us, like I was just saying about maybe something in a relationship that you may see as normal. And it's not, but that layer that trauma makes us feel like that's what it's supposed to be like, when and they're seeing your potential. They're seeing that light that mama truly is. And they're like, wait a minute, mama, wait a minute, mother. So they're valuable. They're very, very valuable. Catherine says, my mother felt that, but I let her know that wasn't her fault, and she equipped with what she need. I love her for being open and honest, and she taught to be open to all sides. It was hard when her mother wasn't equipped with knowledge. I respect her because she decided to do something selfless, like give us to someone who was able to raise us. That is, again, a very healed perspective. Yeah, it's that guilt that comes with it. Feeling like because if we're raising it, we're ultimately responsible as far as making sure these kids have what they need: food, shelter. And when we pass that on to someone else, I mean, that again, it's heavy. But when that's our, all I'm trying to say is that's our responsibility, right? And then when we felt like we came up short with that, that's something that, like I said, like you carry. So you letting her know that it wasn't her fault is definitely a part of her healing. To hear that from somebody who went through that and say, it's not your fault. Yes. I still love you, mama. That's healing.
Yes, it is.
Because you've accepted her, and that allows her that, yeah. What'd you say, Keita?
I mean, that's beautiful for you to, like for you to be able to like tell your mom, it's okay. It's okay. I'm sure that took a lot off of her.
Yeah.
You know, in her healing. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure parents probably, parents that couldn't be there for their probably tend to blame themselves a lot for that. And for them, their children to give them that love, even though they couldn't be there for them like that, that's amazing.
That helps them to really accept themselves because you've
Mm-hmm.
accepted them. Oh dang, I don't have to feel that heavy because they don't feel like I neglected them. They
Yeah,
don't well, so it's okay. That's medicine.
it is.
That's medicine. That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing. She's also said my mom was hurt when she found out that she released us to a safe place to find out that someone who sexually abused her only daughter. I, wow, wow, wow. When you release your children into a place where you think they're safe, now they're in good hands. And then someone betrays that. We trust them and they betray that trust. So now she's dealing with betrayal of the person that she trusted. And that is something that I've dealt with. Betrayal. Having someone that I thought had my child's best interest at heart. Had my best interest at heart and didn't. And I think that's something that I'm working to heal from now because now I am on my kids like for Valentine's Day. We don't really celebrate Valentine's Day, but my husband just likes to do fun things. So he just another day to do something fun. And we're doing something at home with the children when we could very well get, a nanny or it's probably our only option. But because we in here, we ain't got no family, no blood family here. We do have tribe here, but we don't have no blood family. But I don't want to leave my children in the care of anyone else, especially for too long. That's why we homeschool. My kids don't go to daycare, and it's because I trusted people in my younger years that betrayed that trust, and I don't blame them. They did the best that they could, but it caused harm to my children. And I blamed myself for that for a long time. Had I been there, but then it goes back to knowing that we all have these experiences for very profound reason, even if we don't understand it right now. So it allowed me to accept the situation for what it was, and I was able to move on from there. But I can imagine she cried a lot about that. I can imagine. Somebody hurt what was precious to her most valuable asset. It's an even exchange of unpacking that love, and not just unpacking on one person. Balance. I love it here. Keita messaged me. I was like, "What time we getting on tomorrow, girlfriend?" She said she gave me the time, and then she was like, "That's my therapy." I was like, "Me too." And then last cycle, Kira was saying, "When I get off here, I just feel so good. We feel like as we unpack that shit, the stuff that these are conversations that we have, and we can express ourselves that we used to just carry."
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know I don't have a whole lot of. I work doing many different things. So throughout my day, I don't really have a whole lot of time to give these true exchanges and expressions and interactions with my sisters and really get to the heart and get deep about these things. So I look forward to these Sunday risings where we can, just chop it up. Just chop it up. Be for real and be honest. Be open. A for real sacred healing space. So I honor that. I honor that so much, sis. And she said the only thing I didn't like is that my mother didn't share a lot of her experiences with me. But I learned some things since she's passed, and you have my condolences, sis. It's been helpful. I mean, it's helped me to forgive her even more. The most important apology that mattered the most was the most important apology that mattered the most was the one she gave me before she passed. Wow. I wish I knew of her experiences so I wouldn't be so angry with her choices while she was here. Yeah, that's deep. All has been forgiven, and I love her even more. I wouldn't take anybody I would take anybody out about my mother regardless of her. It's not the thing. But I love the fact that you didn't get that apology. Well, you said that before she passed, she gave you an apology, but you didn't get that closure of knowing the why. Why did you make those choices? And I think that's just unconditional love, and just that's a really big healing journey with having to bring closure without knowing why somebody did something. But at the same time, how much weight does it hold? Because it could have been several experiences that could have caused her to make the choices that she made. Maybe she didn't know why she made the choices that she made, or maybe she didn't even feel comfortable sharing those experiences. Maybe they don't even matter. acceptance of what it is. And I know that's definitely that's a big healing journey, but it's awareness. You said that, I felt angry because I didn't know why she made those decisions. She probably didn't know. Probably why they weren't shared. Maybe she felt guilty. Maybe she felt like she didn't want to feel judged. Maybe she felt like it wasn't okay. So many ways that it could have went. I don't even maybe it didn't matter so much because what matters in the end is that these things happen. I survived them. I was able to reunite with my mom. I don't even know why they happened. It's just me reliving it again. They happen. That's not going to change anything as to why. I mean, it may give you some solace and a little comfort as to say she did that because, I can understand that now. And then again, it may not. So it really doesn't matter. The end result is saying she made this choice because at the time, no matter what she was going through, she did her best.
Yes.
And even if their best don't look remotely like what I would consider, that's her path. That's her best.
And that's why I think that it's great that we're doing these podcasts, because you have a way of breaking it down to make people look at it differently.
Really?
Yeah, and remember that's what I told you. I was like, you know what? I think you should do podcasts on this, or I think you should go further with our conversation, because you have a way of making someone think like, you know what? I didn't even think of it like that. But you're right. That's a better way of taking it. Like you, and that's why I love these podcasts. And that's why you be like, and I know you be like, oh, you quiet over there, cause baby, you give me these chills too. I need this too. So that's why I be like,
I try not to be like that person that talk. Like I literally am learning to share the conversation. I love to talk.
but I need this. I mean, like, I love it, because it's like, it's not that I don't have anything to say. It's just that, okay, you gave me something to think about. It's just another thing I'm thinking about. Like, I love it.
You have plenty to say. You have plenty to say, and I love that you share your experiences, and I love that you are sharing your heart and being open. That means a lot to me. It does. So I'm giving you your flowers as I do on every Sunday. But I thank y'all too. Like, these are mother wounds and father wounds. That's deep. That's deep. And we've been on here an hour. No, time is an illusion. Ain't no way. Ain't no
seem like it.
Dang, it was like, dang, that was crazy, y'all.
Letting it flow.
I just wanted to go a little deeper real quick.
And it's so beautiful when y'all engage. Like, I love it. I love it. Okay, you go.
No, I love it too. I love the engagement. It's healing when we can get into these spaces and speak about these things collectively.
Mm-hmm.
And really be honest about it, like, without having to try and appear a certain way or to feel a certain way or to feel like you're being judged. We come out here and air our shit too. Because it's our journey. We go through it because we go master that shit and help somebody else get through it. That's how it happens. That's where that connectivity happens. When you were saying I have things to, like, I'm talking to myself as I talk to y'all. I have to affirm myself daily. I am birthed anew every day, every moment, really. And so there's life happens in cycles. So you sometimes face a lot of the same things and you approach them differently. That's where the mastery comes into play. So this is just me talking to this next level version of myself. And that's why you all are my reflections. Just talking to me, encouraging me, giving me a pep talk. So that's why I give it from my perspective. And if it resonates, I am so grateful for that. But I'm literally just kind of, because we share so many of the same experiences, we're connected in so many ways. So we always talking about the disconnect. Oh, she natural. Oh, she got a perm. Oh, she vegan. She do. We talk about the disconnects so much. But let's talk about how we're connected, and then let's build on it. Let's talk about our similarities, right?
Yeah. It's like, wow. So it's another person feel this same way. Oh, wow, it's another person going through this same thing.
Yeah. And we never talked about those things we went through. People would feel like they're alone.
Yes.
They're the only one going through that bullshit. They're the only one facing that. They're the only one who've had that experience. But if we share, instead of, because I used to not talk about my children not growing up, like being raised by other people when they were younger. I didn't talk about that because people labeled me a bad mother. I accepted that title back then and I ran with it. And I didn't talk about it because it made me shame. Because one thing in the South, if you don't have your kids, you become the woman who ain't got her kids. I don't care if you go motherfucking build a on the moon. You're gonna always be the lady who didn't raise her kids. To some people. So that's what my surroundings was telling me. That's why I say your environment is important. Because once I left that environment and I was able to hear myself, my true self, it told me that you did that out of strength, not out of weakness, baby. And if they call you that, then that's on them. But you don't have to respond to that. So, and then I developed and evolved into the mother that I felt that I needed to be back then. Definitely don't seem like an hour. Heck no. Like what? Like I just got on this thing. Oh my God. I'm telling you, time is such an illusion, y'all. It is such an illusion. Just want to definitely bring a reminder. We are having our gathering. It is going to be the Strawberry Moon tribal gathering. So it is co-ed, men and women. And it is going to be in Savannah, Georgia, June the 2nd through the 5th. It is going to be a spectacular event. We have where you can be on site and stay overnight. And then we have where you can come for a day pass, meaning that you can come and drop through and take part of the events, but you don't necessarily lodge at the destination or at the venue. So I'm excited to launch.
I'm so excited.
This is going to be such a powerful event. Some powerhouses are going to be in the building. We're going to be have Reiki sessions available. We're going to have natal charts going. We're going to do waste be blessings. We're going to cook together as a tribe. So we're going to cook as a community. We're going to, and that really teaches us how to work in unison and how to work together. Because I know we were talking about in the kitchen, like we be wanting our kids to learn how to cook, but certain mothers be like, get out the kitchen. Like, y'all want you here while I'm cooking because sometimes it's your space. So we're going to learn to be able to work amongst each other. Cooking, that you're going to have to be able to communicate. You're going to have to work together. So it's really a strengthening exercise. It's just really showing sisterhood. And then we're going to set the intention to take that back into our community. So much going on. We're going to have a tea party. It's going to be amazing. We're going to be on our beach. We're going to literally have like we got everything in order. We just had to do some planning. Tanisha Pert and myself. And so we are launching like the flyers and everything goes live on today. So I'm excited about that. Been a lot of planning. The amount of hours that she and I have spent planning and discussing this endeavor is unreal. And both our husbands be like, what the hell is going on here? Because we just be talking on the phone for hours and then it goes into sparking to conversation. It's just been a healing experience just planning this thing. It's going to be big. So we're really, really excited about it. Elevated Energy said, yes, I was in the shower earlier in the podcast and wanted to ask, when are you having the event? Because I need that. Look at how it came up anyway. Hey, please send me the information because I'm in there like swimwear. Okay.
It's so amazing. Like me, because I went to one, like it changed my life. Like it changed my life, and then just the energy from it, like it's so amazing. It's so uplifting. Like it's hard to explain it. You just gotta go.
Feel it. I was telling Tanisha something like that, and I was like, yeah, because I was telling her about the Memphis retreat. Keita speaking about the Memphis retreat. That was my very first retreat, y'all. And I picked my hometown because so much healing for me was like I left home with a lot of baggage and a lot of that was unpacked throughout my journey after leaving. But a lot of it I had to go back, face some of those places, some of that energy, and just turn it into what I wanted it to turn into. And baby,
oh man,
so phenomenal. Still, like I look at those photos and I still just get chills, and like the energy, it was so amazing to be in a place that once caused me so much, that showed me so much pain and hurt, showed me so much love. And I showed so much gratitude in return. And for that collective energy, people came from near and far. People drove from Texas, from South Carolina. And then we had people that were there in Memphis, and my sisters came. And yeah, that retreat went down in history, baby. It was legendary. I'm
It
gonna say,
was.
what part of Georgia? I'm in Tampa, so I know it's not far. We're in Savannah, so we ain't that far from you. We'll be in Savannah, GA. We're gonna be on the beach. Oh, y'all, it's gonna be spectacular. We're gonna have tours. We're gonna go out of town and just kind of, because Savannah has so much to offer when it comes to like rich history, and that's where I really got to know myself. There, like I found a lot of ancestral things within myself, and it was some major healing done in Savannah. So to be able to take this now version of myself back and celebrate is what we're doing. I'm grateful for that. So grateful for that. Say yes. It's a party. I'm excited for
Yeah,
real.
me
Start
too. So excited.
Okay. Staying on topic. I did want to, before we jump out of here. We're on here an hour and 11 minutes. Ashe. I wanted to talk about like father wounds and mother wounds, if like the ones you identify with, like which one, like what do you feel like were areas of voids that you didn't get, or like what events occurred that kind of you felt like put you in a void or in the negative when it came to mama or daddy showing up in your life? Like what type of things that you felt like they didn't do or they didn't provide? That's deep.
That is. That makes you think.
I go first. Look at me. I'm gonna ask you a question, then answer it. Nah, for real. And I spoke about this at first. I really, looking back at the way that my mother mothered, she is absolutely amazing, mom. She always had our intentions and our best interest at heart. However, she had things on her journey that she had to heal from, and they came in the form of, I talked about last time, speaking up for
Oh,
herself and devaluing herself. Like I'm like saying, like literally, I don't feel like I'm that, or y'all just saying it. Like we tell her all the time about how great she is with decorating and how amazing she is with that. And she'd be like, "Girl, I just do what I do," which she's freaking amazing when it comes to interior design. She's amazing at so many things, but she doesn't give herself her flowers as often as she should. And I think we witnessed that growing up, because people would always see her light and tell her how great she was, and she'd be like, "Girl, no."
She
I,
yeah. She
sometimes
always.
she do that. Like, and I'm learning to be present, because when I notice it, I'm shifting it, it's just saying thank you instead of saying, "Girl, this old thing," or "Girl, this is."
And you know, I used to kind of be like, well, I used to kind of get. I'm not gonna say the story. I used to kind of get mad at her for this. I be like, well, why you can't see what I'm seeing? Like, why you don't see like you're beautiful? It's like I used to get mad at that. I did. I can't hear you.
I ain't mean to leave you hanging.
Okay.
My bad. I bet my computer be doing it. Like I don't even know. Like we did everything. My husband said it's my vibration. He said, "Girl, you be vibing so high, you be like it pop off." I said, "Ooh, baby, talk dirty to me." But nah, for real. Seriously, I don't know what it does that sometimes. I just pop out and pop back in. So we're gonna wrap this up in a minute anyway. So it did a lot better than it did on last show, because I don't know why I be doing it. And then yesterday it didn't do it at all. I was in Zoom meetings all day and it didn't do it at all. So I don't know. But I used to get mad at mama too. We was in Colorado And we were taking pictures by the waterfall, and she looked so radiant, and she kept saying, "Delete that picture ugly, girl."
Mm-hmm.
I was like, how could you look at this and see ugly? But she doesn't have my lenses. She doesn't have my eyes. So I can't expect her to see anything from my perspective. I can recognize it for what it is and honor that, affirm that if I can, but I can't make her choose to see that.
And I be going back and forth with her.
That's her.
You pretty. Quit saying it. But I learned to calm down with it. Like, stop.
She's been through a lot. She's been through a lot. The world has really happened for her. She's suffered a lot. Not suffered. She's endured a lot. And she's come out triumphant. My mama don't cuss, don't drink, don't smoke, and treats people so kind. So sometimes to a fault, because she's just so giving and loving. That's a strength. It's not a weakness. And I recognize that, and I'd like to focus on that, and not when she try and downplay her beauty or her actions or her kindness and generosity. She doesn't feel deserving for a lot of different reasons. And until that's addressed, then what can we do? Just keep honoring her for who she is, but we can't make her see herself. She will, but ain't no our time. So we're gonna honor that.
But I say that and I do that to her, but I find myself doing the same though. I find myself doing the same.
Me too. But you know what I do now? I recognize it, and I know if I'm going into a space, like I know I sit on a board of people who have like these titles and these names and do these big jobs, big wigs, and sometimes I feel like my voice don't matter when I know it does. So I'm like, that's ego talking, that's past trauma talking. I'm valuable, otherwise I wouldn't be at the table.
Yeah.
And I myself prior to, like, I have to coach myself through those things even now.
Me too.
Even now. But the awareness, it doesn't matter. Like, it's the awareness. It's the awareness, knowing that, oh, wait a minute, wait. Somebody just gave me a compliment, accept it. And be okay with that. Elevated Energy said, I wasn't provided gentle love, but I know now my mother didn't know gentle love. Understanding a safe place to express myself. Ashe. They cannot give you what they do not have. Not to say it's not in there, but it hasn't been discovered yet. They ain't dug it up. Them layers, they still getting through them layers. And they can't give you what they ain't got. That's why actions speak louder than words.
That goes to show what you were saying earlier. Action speaks louder than words.
Can't mirror back.
And then yet we will fault those people and be like, well, wait, how come you don't know how to act? Like, how come you don't know how to? Well, they never seen it.
They never
but it's you would say that, but at the moment you be like, so like, I don't know. You at the moment you be like, I just can't see why you just can't. But you gotta look at it. They never like,
they can't see what you see.
Yeah.
They ain't seeing what you see. And it ain't our job to get them to see that. It's their job to see that. But it's our job to encourage them and show them love. Even unconditional love. I'm not judging you, because we judge her when we be getting mad at her. Well, why don't you? You supposed to. We judging her. Weren't we?
And I even realized that we was where
we looking at it. We telling you something good about yourself. How dare you not see this good about yourself? But that's entitlement. We can't force her to see that. She's very much on her healing journey, and nobody pushed us off the porch. We were coasted and guided on our journey. So she has to experience it in her own time, not because we want her to.
Ashe. Yes.
I wasn't provided the knowledge of loving myself because my mother showed me that she didn't love herself. Mirroring actions. If you don't know what an empowered woman or a woman that loves herself looks like, you're not taught that. And with all the programming, it's not instinctive as it should be if it's not instilled at home. And you can talk to somebody, they blue in the face, I want you to be a productive young lady. What does that look like? You can say that, but they can look a million different ways. Lead by example.
And all it follows and goes to show that self-love.
Self-love.
Get to know who you are. Get to know what you're worth. That's where it comes in. You
gotta know who you are. You don't know. Okay, if I had $1 million watch and I'm strutting this thing, and I don't know that it's $1 million watch. I don't know it. You got to get to know it. I don't know it's worth $1 million until I took the time to research that thing, to look it up, to get some advice, to get somebody else to look at it. Necessarily, you don't want to do that with yourself, but use other your relationships as mirrors of where I need to strengthen myself, is what I mean with that.
Yes.
If I'm in a relationship that I don't like, whether it be a job, a spouse, my friends, what does that say about me? What am I projecting? And not necessarily saying that you're the blame for somebody else's actions. No. But if the majority of my friends is gossiping and full of shit and full of mess, maybe I've just evolved. And they're showing me what I don't want to be involved with anymore. Or maybe I'm a part of friends who use me. Maybe I don't have boundaries. They're going to be users anyway, whether it be me or anybody else, they're going to be themselves. So it's not their fault. But what am I projecting to make them think that this is okay? Or is this okay with me? Do I need to go ahead and graduate from this relationship? No love lost. I still love you. But we can't do things how we used to do them. Just we change every moment, every second of every day. And that means the relationships change. Our diet change. A lot. We're going to change. And sometimes we evolve past things.
Yes.
Sometimes we will evolve within things. It's so many parts. Elevated energy says my sperm donor didn't provide himself being there or showing me love, but understand that he couldn't, and I was better off in a sense. Ashe, that's acceptance. That's acceptance. I sense some anger, quite naturally. I was very much angry because I was asking you about ways that you feel like, we'll start with our father wasn't present. I felt like physical presence wasn't there. I remember a Christmas where everybody got presents and I didn't get them. Who, I don't know, the man probably ran out of money. But to a child, it was hurtful. I didn't feel like I was accepted, or I mattered. And then as I became an adult, I was in a very vulnerable situation, and we reestablished our relationship. And I came to him for one advice, and the second was money, which I shouldn't have been entitled, and was giving a very harsh, I don't care. In a way, I say that I interpret it as I don't care, but it really wasn't it was more so of you'll figure it out, whatever. That's the only thing you've gone through. It wasn't, I felt like I was dismissed. So that hurt my feelings. But I got through that because I realized that he is who he is. And yeah, maybe that hurt, but that taught me. It taught me. It showed me on who I could rely upon for certain things.
Well, I have a situation that hurted me, and I'm trying to see, like, how could I release this? Like, I had a situation, like, and when I told Mama about the situation, and Mama was like, it hurt you. That was so simple. What, you could have let that roll out. What? Maybe that was simple to you, but it stuck with me. And what I'm saying, and it probably seemed simple to a lot, but it hurt my feelings. I was one day, our dad came and picked us up, and I was told, and he had a Jeep, that little Jeep girl, and I was told that girl, you know how you get out, you go to a dip in your car scrub. I was told that I was the cause of it, cause I always been overweight, and that hurt my feelings, and it's like, and it still stick me to this day. And the reason why I think it hurt my feelings so much, because I thought of it as like, well, you ain't supposed to be trying to hurt my feelings. You supposed to be my protector. You ain't supposed to say stuff that's gonna hurt me. That's how I felt. And to this day, I be like, and I still just have memories of it, because I be thinking like, he's supposed to be protecting me. I know I was overweight, I'm a little chubby, but you ain't supposed to say nothing like that. Even though I wasn't the cause of that thing scraping like that. No. But who's like, and I wasn't seeing both sides of it. Maybe he didn't see it as like that was gonna hurt my feelings. Maybe he thought it was like a little joke, trying to be funny or anything like that. But to this day, that still kind of bothers me.
I honor you for even expressing it out loud, because I remember you spoke about this with me, and that's big for you, because when you spoke about it, you weren't crying, but your emotions were very high. When you spoke about it, because I could tell it hurt you. And that could be small to somebody else, but this ain't their journey. This yours, and nobody has the right to tell you what hurt you or how or the magnitude of the hurt. Right? And I agree that is very hurtful for somebody to say that to a child, because children are very much dependent upon how their parents view them. And out of all the things you could have said,
a tear fell.
that's releasing. So you don't have to keep pondering over that anymore, even if you never get a sorry, even if you will not sorry, an apology, even if it's never addressed, even if you never speak it to him personally. Mm-hmm. You said it and you spoke it in a space to where you set the intention to release it, because that I can see how that could leave a mark, especially on somebody who dealt with having a little bit of weight on them and people not saying the nicest things. I expect you to provide me comfort, but you're going to be one of them. It's betrayal too.
And that's how I took that, like, oh, you ain't supposed to be saying this. I get this from kids at school. You know, like, but yeah. But I'm releasing it though.
I feel it, because I'm over here about to cry. Release it. It don't deserve to continue to take up space. You acknowledge that hurt you, but that's not who you are, clearly. And he showed up the way that he knows how to show up. And I'm saying that he's a bad person. I know he's hilarious. I had him on the show one time, and he's very much a joker. Mm-hmm. But sometimes the jokes can be hurtful. And that's when we got to know boundaries. But to have compassion, you have to have been shown compassion, and maybe he wasn't shown that, which is another way to see that. But that doesn't make it okay. It does not make it okay. I am not saying what he did was okay, but you know that it doesn't deserve to continue to take up space.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
That hurt me. That really hurt my feelings. I expected him to, but that's that expectation. I expected him to, but what can he really show up and do? And he gave his best. And you know what? Even having a conversation, maybe he didn't mean to even, maybe that's worth having a conversation with him about, or maybe not. Maybe this is all the healing that you need. But, you know, maybe you'll find out that wasn't his intention and he didn't know. That's why it's important. Like now, look how, if you had a conversation with him or you felt comfortable open up with him, you wouldn't have carried this shit into your adulthood. You probably made decisions based upon the exact scenario.
Mm-hmm.
But if you had, and that's why it's important to promote that relationship with Kylie and her dad, because open up that safe space now to where she doesn't have to carry that shit on over and over and replay in her head and deal with that and have to release it later on down the line after 50 million choices that weren't favorable were made. Allow them to be able to have that facilitate. That ain't up to you. Facilitate him being open with her. And maybe you want to even share that story with him. So one thing happened with my dad. Out of all the memories that I could have, that's the biggest thing that pops up with him. And if we was able to have a conversation, that would have played a different, it wouldn't even been present in my life. It could have been one trauma that was overcame and we was able to have a conversation. That's why it's important. And you can let him know that. That can even give your perspective.
Yes.
And just I mean, for real, like that's powerful. Maybe you went through it to be able to share that for your child, to share that experience. Who knows? Work on forgiving him for that. I'm realizing as we had this discussion that I have to be even more gentle with myself because I'm breaking a lot of generations. You absolutely, girl. And as I read your message, it was my spidey senses went off. You absolutely are. And you got to give yourself grace. You are an amazing, amazing, phenomenal mother and goddess. And I read your story that you posted, and it hit home, and it was so transparent. And it took a person who had knowledge of themselves, belief and faith in themselves, and a whole lot of fucking strength to do what you did. So you definitely got to give yourself, and we got to give ourselves flowers more often. Like we be looking at these big ass accomplishments and this, and this, but these small things make the biggest impact. Just noticing where you want to do better, acknowledging that and implementing the smallest tool. Like that's the big things. Acknowledging that is something I don't desire for me or for my children, and deciding to do better. We don't give ourselves enough credit, for sure.
Yes, we do not.
You got to definitely give yourself your flowers every day. And sometimes it takes dissecting that shit and talking about it amongst other people to really be able to see, damn, I really am fine, a motherfucker. I'm doing the work. Because we get to the place of comparing our journeys to other people, and our ideas of success look different. But I feel like you're successful every day if you can wake up with joy in your heart, doing what you love to do.
Hey,
Peace. That's success.
yes, peace.
Peace. Ooh, peace
Ooh.
is from peace. It's like the fabric of love. From peace, you can create and be, and peace makes room for so much. Because if you got peace of mind, you ain't on defense, you ain't on guard, you ain't in that masculine energy. You got balance, that flow. You can go be who you want to be. Get to acquainted with that beauty within. Get acquainted with that woman who you were or still are before all of life started to happen. You can become reacquainted with her. All that stuff gets quiet when you're at peace because that shit don't shake you. You within, you aligned. At the end of the day, I chose to come back and experience this life. So I'm going to work more on not complaining about my experiences and learning from them instead. I check. It's a gift. I shade. Thank you for sharing that, to switch all that shit back to gratitude. I love it. 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 Switch it back to gratitude because we chose to be here. It's a lot that goes into play when a baby, I mean, just even the physical form. We talk about the spiritual aspect, just physically. When the sperm meet the egg and all of that, it has to be it's a miracle if you dissect it. Go watch a video on how conception happens. And if you come back and tell me there ain't no miracle, you dead. You ain't alive. Let me check your pulse. Because it's so beautiful of how it happens. And you're and that in itself lets you know how perfect and special you are. And we chose these experiences. And they come with great value if we allow ourselves to see that value. Or you can choose to stay in victim mentality and say, they did. They did for you, not to you. It's an valuable experience, even if it didn't feel good. Like that man said when he was out there fighting them people, it was not safe, but it was good. It needed to occur. So it sounds harsh, but it really builds muscle because a lot of my experiences now being a teen mom, being in an abusive relationship, making some of the choices that I made built muscle, and I'm able to assist people by telling my story, by giving advice when it's asked, by just being me and radiating that light and getting through that.
Yes. Can't hear you.
All right, y'all. I'm gonna wrap it up because I ain't gonna keep doing this today. Is somebody laughing? I had to push that usher finger up.
I don't
know why this thing be doing that. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's a new computer. I don't know. Anyway. Oh, she's giving you love. Elevating energy was giving you love. That is deep. That's deep. And thank you. You sound like Kylie when you said that.
I did. Gratitude. That's
what Kylie be saying when she see babies. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that was definitely an uncomfortable experience living an extended stay. But I also asked to be here. And I remember saying whatever it takes. But I never thought that. And I'm grateful to have made it through because it was days I wanted to give up. I wanted to give my kids up because I didn't want to experience that. And I felt like I failed, but I didn't fail at all. No, you ain't fail. And then you showed them what perseverance looked like. You showed them like really that gives them gratitude for where they are now. Because some kids get entitled once they get so much and they just expect it to happen. Mm-hmm. It showed them so much. And that experience was valuable for your children to be able to experience it with you. Although I don't want my kids to see that struggle, but sometimes that helps to build muscle as well. It helps them to say, damn, my mama a bad mama chama. We was doing this and then look at this. It helps that And then it helps to bond because through the thick and the thin, the good and the bad. And I'm sure it was days that they kept you sane. They kept you whole. And you do that for them every day. So your kids do that for you, Keita?
A lot, baby, every day. I don't know where I be some days without them.
Me too.
Kylie, you strong. You got the Kylie. Yes.
I saw that a lot when y'all came to Florida to visit me. When they were just so, I remember Kylie looking at you and said, Kitty, you are amazing. You are amazing. And it was like, wow, they see that. And you just being you. You just being you. So I just feel like that is such a valuable experience. I remember
on this podcast today.
Like I love it. That's what we're here for. That is what we're here for. To just unpack this shit. Anybody want to be carrying this stuff around in our day? Let's acknowledge it. I hear you hurt. I hear you pain. Let's acknowledge why you're here. Let's get through that. This is what happened. Unpack it and let it flow instead of just letting it hold you up, because you've been holding on to that story for decades. And now you told that story and you can release it. You can release it. So shout out to you, Elevated Energy. You're such a goddess, and I am so excited. Anna, baby, it's the lituation.
Okay.
Writing, yes. If it wasn't for them, I just don't know where I'd be, especially after losing my mother. They're sitting here to help us. Just like we help them. It's a two-way street. We ain't just, these kids just here to eat up stuff, and they do eat up a lot of food. I know, baby, my teenager, I don't know. Like, we sending him to work in March because he got to go ahead and do something. Because, baby, he eat up all the food, okay? And they'll tell you he didn't. He just loves it. He's a growing kid. Getting and taller every day. So we tend to just look more so as, oh my goodness, these kids here, baby. And then we put out so much energy and effort in raising them that it can sometimes feel like a one-way street. But the emotional value, the emotional support, the bonding experiences are unmatched, man. My little ones, my older children, I get on here with Kira, man, they highlight them. I'm like, Kira, call my phone. I'm like this. Hey girl, because they keep me going. And they're very valuable. They're very, very valuable when it comes to sharing their thoughts, their opinions. I learn from them. They're a whole vibe. So I appreciate my kids so very much. Like they're
really they don't get their flowers enough.
Oh, there you go.
They don't.
And I think it's important that we let our kids know at any chance we get how valuable and important they are to us, how meaningful they are to us. And then that helps them to develop self-worth, and they take that out in the world. I know I'm valuable, so I ain't got to wait on nobody else to tell me that. I know I'm valuable right now because my mama taught me that when I was younger, and I believe my mama because I trust my mama.
Yep.
And that builds their confidence to be able to build them up enough to trust themselves. To know their value for themselves, and then they can take that out in the world, and they're not allowing their energy to be manipulated in a way that they don't favor. Okay. All right, y'all. We get an hour and 38 minutes. It's 11 again. But this has been another real episode, y'all. Definitely a healing podcast. Look forward to more info on the retreat. I thank y'all for riding this thing with us, for sharing such sacred information and telling your stories, because it's very, very valuable. Somebody somewhere may be going through the same thing, and you've provided some keys to them on their journey. You provided some inspiration, and collectively we're providing love. So I appreciate you all to just love y'all life. I appreciate you infinitely. So much gratitude. You can catch us here again on Sunday. Right, Keita? Right.
You could catch us on Sunday. Yeah, because this is my therapy. I be looking forward to them Sundays. And believe it, I have nothing planned on Sunday. I'm like, because I got to do the podcast Sunday. I put that Sunday.
Me too, Keita. Me too. I was talking to one of my colleagues, and she was like, "So we need to schedule this next meetup because we working on this project together." And I was like, "Girl, any day but Sunday," because we get on there. And I don't know how long I'm gonna be on there, and you ain't imposed on this time. I give you enough, okay? I love the energy. Said yes, most definitely healing. We got this. We always will have it. I love y'all.
Love you too.
We love you so much. Thank you for everything, Goddess. Thank you to everybody that came through, dropped gems, shared their story. I appreciate you so very much. Until next Sunday, y'all continue to be well. Take care of yourself so that we can take care of each other. That's how it happens. Inside, then outside. What you got to say, Goddess Key? I look there, go pointing this thing.
Like I always say, I give thanks for you holding this space because we all healing. And I give thanks for that, to be able to come to a space where no judgment. You could be yourself. And I give thanks for it all.
Ashe. And with that, we're going to end in gratitude, sending y'all virtual hugs and so much love, sisters. Y'all catch me on Facebook doing some silly stuff, posting inspirational stuff, probably cussing. Y'all can always find me on there. Goddess Keys on Facebook too. She's on TikTok as well. You on Instagram?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram.
You're on Instagram too? What's your Instagram?
Chiquita Childress.
I'm on that Bloom Lotus birthing, but I promise y'all, I don't even know how to work. I'm gonna be transparent. I don't know how to work Instagram. Somebody has to direct message me. I'm like, how I do this, Anthony? I don't know how to work it. And the only reason why I post on Instagram because it automatically posts from my Facebook. I'm just on Facebook. So find me on Facebook. I love y'all so much. Catch us next Sunday on all of these platforms: YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook. And yeah, we'll be here. Invite your friends, get your tea. We'll be here, same time, same place. Love y'all to life. Peace and be well, goddesses.
Love life.